First things first, in this tutorial, you need to drink water, otherwise you are going to be as dry as the desert this winter. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Joanne here. I'm back. At this point we're no longer going to discuss what happens to me and all those good things. So I'm just gonna get right into the video. So today I'm doing a foundation routine for dry skin, specifically because I do suffer from dry skin and eczema, and considering the fact that it's winter now, everything is just going crazy. My skin is just dry because of the weather, and then it's also just dry because of my eczema. So all the forces are working against me, which is making it a little hard to wear makeup. I'm here to help me and help you to be able to wear makeup during the season while still giving our skin what it needs, hydration, and look flawless, obviously, because I mean, that's what we do in this house. So this is just a clip of the skincare routine that I followed before doing my makeup on this day. All the details will be in the description box if you're interested. Let's just enjoy some skin ASMR with no sound, just the vibes, you know? First things first is we're going to use a primer. The primer I'll be using is this one from Essence, which is the Prime Studio Hydrating Plus Skin Refreshing Primer, which promises 24-hour hydration with coconut water and hyaluronic acid. The benefit with products like this is that you don't necessarily need to use them for makeup only, or you are not restricted to only use them for makeup. You can also use them just as part of your everyday skincare, just to give your skin that extra boost. So yeah, I really like that. And just to make sure that we seal in the moisture and add a little more moisture, I'm going to use the Switch Beauty Superherospray and just spray it all over my face and just let that simmer down a little before we start with our foundation routine. I really wasn't joking when I mentioned drinking water as part of a skincare routine, and this is not only just for like clearer skin and whatnot, it's just specifically to add hydration to your skin. Your skin needs all that moisture that it can get from the various things. You can even get moisture from the foods that you eat, but obviously top tier way to get moisture is to drink water. Being said, we're gonna be working off mostly liquid and cream products. So I'm gonna do my base. I typically do my base in a manner in which I start with highlighting, contouring, then foundation and blush. and that's the way that I'll be going today. So firstly, I'm going to start off with the Aaliyah Girl concealers, which are right here, and the one that I'm going to use to highlight is Fawn, and the one that I'm going to use to contour is Espresso. These concealers aren't very drying. They're not necessarily hydrating, but to me they aren't drying, so I feel like they're the perfect concealers to go in with during the drier months. Don't mind my mirror chair, it's the ghetto. And I don't know if you can see, but I have some scarring on my cheek area, so I'm gonna use the same concealer just to correct this area before I go on with foundation. And then immediately from there, I'm going to start blending in my contour. So obviously we all live in a mask wearing climate. So now, and as much as we're trying to be we are trying to hydrate our skin, we are still going to use products that do mattify, just so that when we are wearing these masks, that our makeup for one doesn't get off, and also doesn't like smudge, and you know, you can see that okay, the bottom of her face is now like off, and you can now start seeing the scarring and all that if you have any like me. So also with all the moisture products that we're using, we're kind of creating a balance. Like, in as much as it would be great to use products that are very moisturizing or have hydration for the skin, that's great, we can do that, but we also need to balance it out somewhere and use something that is perhaps mattifying for obviously the mask wearing, and also so that we're not too hydrated and then we just look very, very dewy and not in the cute way. And also, this is just to help that we don't use powder more than we actually want to. And in the way that I'm doing my makeup, I'm gonna apply foundation here and here and on my forehead. And this area this is where your mask goes. So for that reason, I'm gonna be using a foundation with a matte finish, which means that it's unlikely to move and transfer compared to all the other products that I've been using so far. And also, I don't need to bake with powder here as much because I've already used a mattifying foundation. You get my groove. I'm going to be using 1.5 pumps of the NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop foundation. Apply it in the areas where I didn't put concealer or contour. And with foundation, we are tapping it in and not sweeping. You can sweep, I guess, but you need to pat it in at some points for it to look good. And I'm just gonna work around my highlights because I'm really trying to get the highlights to dry down. So I'm gonna add a little more of my Switch Beauty Superherospray. As you can see, my contour started going away a little, so I'm just going to take the brush that I used to blend it in and just go over where I contoured without adding anything else. I'm just going to blend my nose contour in. I'm not going to take a damp sponge and blend in my highlight. I've now blended in most of my highlights. I'm going to now add it on the bridge of my nose and my forehead and apply a lighter concealer. For that lighter concealer, I'm going to use the L'Oreal Paris Modern Concealer. This is a very fast drying and matte concealer, so I wouldn't apply too much, especially considering that it's under the eyes. This is not just for the extra highlight I said, but also just to keep our under eye area from moving and budging without having to use too much powder. You know, there are self-setting concealers, and this is one of them. You don't have to use powder when using it. And a little goes a long way with this concealer. Please just look at my under eye and just see I literally applied a dot in the inner corners, but look how much it's already spread out. Before we set the face, I'm just gonna go in with some Switch Beauty again. Blend in the edges. Make sure everything is seamless. To set and make sure that what you are when you're setting, you're not using too much powder, you can use a brush. This is like a concealer brush, concealer slash powder brush. You can use that because it doesn't use as much powder compared to a sponge, but you can also use a sponge. I tend to just go in with the sponge under my eye, and then I go in with the brush around the rest of my face. I'm gonna get powder on my beauty blender, and then I'm gonna tap it on the back of my hand to make sure that I'm really using minimal powder. I actually forgot a step. I really forgot a step. Okay, in this house we have become blush stands, and also specifically cream blush. Even in the last video that I did, you may have seen that I used a lipstick lip gloss as blush for a cream blush effect, and that's what I'm gonna be doing, but I'm gonna be using cream blush, which also helps the whole thing that we're trying to achieve, which is using cream and liquid products to make sure that our skin is hydrated and it's not being dried out by all the powder in the world. So a great cream blush product is the Switch Beauty Bubble Blush, which is a matte cheek tint. It's not matte to me, but anyway. Here is the palette. It has 6 beautiful shades, and I think today I'm gonna use Sunset Blur and Havana, which are these two. So I'm just gonna take my brush and swirl it. They're very pigmented and buildable. So I'm gonna just start this side where I've already put powder. I've never actually tried putting them on while I have powder, so first time for everything today. And I literally just bring this up into my temple. I prefer using this on a wet base compared to putting it on with powder, and I usually put it on top of my concealer and all that. You see, very pigmented, very beautiful. And then I usually take my foundation brush when I'm done, and I just blend that in. And set. And then just adding a little more around these areas where I tend to crease. So I'm just setting my mouth area. Look at how awake the face is now that we've added blush. I can't believe I forgot this step. And one thing about this blush is that it sets immediately when in contact with powder, but it'll dry just the way it is. I don't know if you can see, but I am already really loving this look. We look chef's kiss. And now I'm just gonna set the rest of my face, but using minimal powder. And like I said, I'll be using a brush and not a sponge, because the brush doesn't carry as much product as the sponge does. So even when I'm done getting some powder, I just dust it off just so I really make sure that I'm getting minimal powder. And I'm just gonna apply it on the bridge of my nose. And then I'm gonna tap my forehead, which is an area that gets pretty dry for me, so using less powder is just the right thing for me. Also, this area, you don't put a mask on it, so I'm not really bothered about anything transferring and all that. But we're just gonna set it so that the makeup doesn't obviously move and that everything stays in place. And you see, it just created a nice veil, removing like the shine and just making sure that the makeup stays in place. Because we use the matte foundation, there's absolutely no need to set the bottom of our face, and especially if you're not going out, but you shouldn't be, because third wave, hello. But if you are and you really feel like you need to, then you can just take some powder and lightly dust under your contour, which I'm gonna do just to also brighten up my contour. Not too much, but like just creating a light veil, as you saw. And it's really important to dust your brush off. That's pretty much the face. I still feel very hydrated. I don't feel like I have, for one, a lot of makeup on my face. Two, I don't feel like my face is drying out now because of the powder. Also, this is just a very fine and smooth powder, and it literally settles so nicely in the skin without drying out the skin. So I really like it. And the constant use of the Superherospray, just a mist in general, is just helping my skin to always contain moisture, and all my products to contain moisture and all that. I'm gonna apply some powder contour because I do feel like my contour needs to stand out and just help set the blush just a little. And this is now for people who don't maybe use cream contour because they're afraid of it, or liquid contour. So you can use powder on top, and this is just also to kind of set the contour without doing too much. Also, what I'll be using for this is something that's very light. I don't feel it at all. Contour and Glow palette from Scarlet here, and I'm using the palette medium. Giving very sculpted, but very soft, but very... Guys, and one thing I want to emphasize is that at this point my skin feels healthy still. But just so that we can melt all the powders in, I'm going to do a few spritz of spray. But also I'm going to include setting spray, because this mist that I've been using is just like a skincare mist slash hydrating mist. So it doesn't really set our makeup in place. So I'm going to go in with the Maybelline setting spray, which is a mattifying spray. But this is just going to help our makeup stay in place. But using it with the hydrating mist is going to help balance things out. And also, we've been using things that have been hydrating so far, and so many of them, that the little mattifying that we're going to be using is not going to kill us. But if you really feel like that your skin is really as dry as the Sahara, baby, then leave it, especially if you're not going to be going out or anything, or be wearing a mask. So you can really leave it. And then She looking real cute. Okay, I think for now we are done with the skin, so let's get into these eyes, baby. So considering in the spirit of that it's winter and we're literally just wearing cool colors and nudes and all that, that's what we're going to be doing in terms of eyeshadow. This is my Switch Beauty palette, the Slay for Days palette. If you know me, you know that I use this palette and I make sure. The eyeshadow look of this tutorial, I did really like this, that's why I decided to include it in this tutorial, but it is however not the main focus, and that's why I didn't go into so much detail explaining it. However, the products I used will be linked in the description. Not linked, will be in the description. And I'll also just include the name of the shades that I used. Okay, so as you can see, we're almost done with the look. We just need to do our lips. I actually forgot my bottom mascara, so I'm gonna do that in just a second. Okay, I'm gonna be using Cheeky Bronze from MAC. As you can see, it's very cheeky and very bronzy. Quite a beautiful color though. And I'm gonna put that on my nose. I think I will also put it just here in this little dip. Just this little dip. Okay, to seal off the look, we're still trying to be very hydrated and just to be friendly with our skin, and that would also include our lips. So if you really have really cracked and dry lips, you can either go in under with Vaseline and then do whatever you do on top of Vaseline, or like a chapstick. MAC Prep and Prime is very great for hydrating the lips first before you actually apply whatever you're applying. It also helps make your matte lipsticks be very not soft, they're still as pigmented and as beautiful, but it just helps protect your lips from such harsh formulas. I was thinking of going with a gloss, but I first need to line my lips because that is procedure in this house. Okay, now that I've applied some lip liner, I'm going to apply this NYX Soft Matte Lip Cream. Like it says, it's a soft matte, so it doesn't really dry down unless you obviously manipulate it, and also depending on what you use it with. And now I'm going to take this Essence Shine 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 lip gloss and just apply it as my gloss. And obviously if you're going to be wearing a mask, you don't need to wear gloss. Like I said, you can use Vaseline under or something else. The final look. She cute, and that's how Mary had a little lamb. Okay, so yeah, this is the face looking very gorgeous, but also well hydrated, and I don't feel like I'm feeling dry here or on my forehead. Like literally we're Gucci on the side, and that's because we take care of our skin, guys. We take care of our skin. One thing about makeup is that really genuinely, honestly, truly, if your skin is not taken care of, it's gonna show on your makeup. And I'm not saying I have the best skin. All I'm saying is if you put in the effort when it comes to your skincare, and even when it comes to your makeup, and not just applying just anything on your face, then it's obviously gonna show and your makeup is gonna look great and it's gonna complement you. But your makeup can look good on top of your skin, but like if it's literally sitting on a dry layer of skin, it's gonna show. It's gonna show, and it's not gonna look cute in like a few hours. So I hope this tutorial was very helpful and that you learned a thing or two, and that also you maybe work with things that you've seen work for you, that okay, no, maybe this is hydrating for me, then use it in that way. You can manipulate products obviously, and you can also take what is relevant to you from this tutorial. It doesn't necessarily mean it's just for dry skin people. If you're the oily skin hand, feel like you're dry in your T-zone area, which doesn't really make sense, but anyway, if you feel like that area you are very dry, then obviously use the hydrating concealers. Use less powder in those areas. Don't pack on powder. Don't use powder if you also feel like it's unnecessary. So like all these little things help you in creating a perfect look that's also suitable for your skin type. And there are many things now that are coming out and that are also there in stores, drugstore, and actual like high-end brands that are now catering for dry skin. But I hope you like this look, this young, cute, sultry, smoky, but giving me winter, but giving me good skin winter vibes. Like, who is she? Who is she? I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I hope it was helpful. And yeah, if you'd like to see more, comment in the comment section. Obviously, don't forget to like this video, and most importantly, don't forget to subscribe. Subscribe, guys, please subscribe. All right. I really like her. Period. Anyway, until next time. I just scratched my face. Until next time.